Hello, beautiful people. This is Eleni, and I was a little bit nervous about doing this video to begin with because what I want to talk about is the title of my next book. So, for those of you that have followed me, my first book was a very long time ago. It was back in 2014. It was called Mindset Dominance, and it was about breaking bad habits and stopping self sabotage. And it was all based on my personal experience and the case studies of my clients as a hypnotherapist. It was all about using the mind to achieve whatever it is we need in our life. And now, many years later, I have evolved and changed and live a very, very different life in a very different way. And so, my next book, which I have already completed the first draft, and I'm well on my way in terms of the second draft, is called Effortless Abundance. Effortless Abundance. It's a spiritual journey to create an abundant life with less effort and more play. And this coming from me is such a paradox because I was extremely hardworking. I was definitely addicted to hard work. I was a workaholic. When I look back and see all the things that I used to do and all the activities I did, I just can't believe it. I can't believe that I did everything I did. There was a period of time in my life where I was flying to a different city every single day, running workshops, running events, selling programs, selling retreats, running retreats, all at the same time holding a clinic. It was just a lot. I would go to the States 4 times a year. I would travel everywhere. And just before COVID hit, I wanted to slow down. I wanted to ease off on the traveling, but I didn't know how because this is the life that I created and I didn't know how to get off that treadmill. And then, of course, COVID hit. And during COVID, for me, I know not for many others, but for me, it was a welcome relief because I instantly pivoted, and those years were my most profitable years because I didn't have to travel, and yet I still ran retreats. I still sold programs at the same price points that I did previously. So even though my life had become easier because I had stopped traveling during the COVID years, um, I still started to feel a misalignment with my soul. And that really was about feeling that I just needed to get off this treadmill. I needed to get off completely, not half get off and then go back on, but just get off completely. And it was in May 2021 when my father passed, who is very, very, very dear to me. And that was a pivotal moment of me reassessing my life and looking at every single activity that I did and asking myself why I was doing it. And I found that although all the activities that I was doing was straight from my heart and they were heartfelt and I loved helping people, I loved the beautiful business of HypnoFit that I had created, I found that the training of my program, which is where I was training new hypnotherapists, it started to feel like hard work. It started to feel like that's not what I wanted to teach about anymore. I no longer wanted to teach about how to hypnotize. I no longer wanted to teach about how to create a successful business. I wanted people to know that there was an easier way and that we didn't have to do what we thought we had to do. That all those goals that we set up and all those goals that we have to achieve and then we blame ourselves for not achieving. And then even when we do achieve them, there's more goals. Like, where does it end? Where does the whole thing end? And I did get off that treadmill and I moved states and I moved to Adelaide by the beach where I literally am living by the ocean and looking at the ocean every single day. And it is an abundant lifestyle because I get to fly back to Melbourne every month to visit my family. I get to have my me time here. I live my life according to how I want to live it. If I want to sleep in, I sleep in. If I want to go to the gym, I go to the gym. If I don't want to go to the gym for 3 weeks, I don't. It's just a life of constantly um, being in gratitude and living in gratitude rather than looking for the next moment or what I can achieve next. It really is a life of abundance. And this is why I'm creating my book, because I want to share my story. And when I talk about abundance, I don't mean to be a billionaire. I don't mean, because that's what I would have thought of before. Previously, one of the things that I wanted in my life was this phrase called financially free, which would mean do whatever I want whenever I want and not have a second thought. But that's not what I mean today. What I mean today is to be abundant in the moment, to be truly, truly grateful for everything that's showing up in my life. And the more I play in that space and the more I am in that space, the more things come without me wanting them. They just appear. So the moment I feel like, oh, this would be nice to have in my life, but then I'm not attached to it, it just flies in. And it sounds entitled, but it's not. It's about living with grace and ease with the universe and really being happy with everything that we do have. And so I was able to let go of the most profitable part of my business. It wasn't easy. It was friggin' hard to do that. It was so hard to do that. But what I had found was the work that and the business that I had created, I was just my own slave. So previously I used to be a slave to the corporate world, working for them for 22 years. Now I was my slave, where I was wanting to do more and more and more and more, and it was never enough, and there was always more work. Yes, sure, I loved it, but it was too much. And I didn't notice that my nervous system was fried until I got off that treadmill, because that's just the way that I felt all the time. And so the way that I lived my life, yes, there was a lot of adrenaline, a lot of excitement, a lot of passion, a lot of love, but there was also a lot of exhaustion. And I was perpetually exhausted, but I didn't realize that I was, because it was my normal state of being. I didn't realize that my nervous system was fried until I got off that treadmill, until I moved to Adelaide. And then I realized that even when I had less to do, I was still creating enough work to keep me busy for the whole day. Even though 70% of my business was now closed down, I still managed to fill up my day with 100% of work. And that was because I was so accustomed to living a certain way. And I went into this process of just really watching and monitoring myself. Why am I doing this activity? What do I want out of it? Is it because I want more followers? Is it because I want more status? Is it because I want to appear a certain way to people? Why am I doing this? And my spiritual ego can always justify it by saying, no, you're doing it to help people. But then if you go underneath, but why am I doing it in this way and not in this way? Why am I not trusting more? And so now the way that I live my life is so very different, where I rest when it's time to rest. I might spend an entire day in the middle of the week meditating and walking and just being in the moment. And that's when creativity hits. That's when an idea comes into my mind. That's when things just appear. It's not in the doing, busy, busy, busy that things appear. And the other thing I want to mention is that the ego will achieve things. So, with all the hard work that I did previously, I did achieve success beyond my wildest dreams, but it comes at a cost, and the cost is exhaustion. The cost is not living in the moment. The cost is not being free to do whatever I want to do, not being free to walk on the beach and meditate all day. Instead, I was not free. I was tied to my phone. I was tied to my computer. I was tied to other people's demands. And I didn't allow enough playtime in there. And so then what would happen is when it was time to play, when I had leisure time, I would drink too much or I would party too much, because it was like, when I say too much, it was more than I needed to be in that contentment level. And so instead, when we introduce play into our life every day and curiosity into our life every day about, I wonder what the day is going to bring, we live completely differently. So this book so far is 32 chapters, but it's really easy to understand because I am not the kind of person that talks quantum physics. That's not me. I'm very realistic in terms of, well, not realistic, that's not the word. I'm practical. So I give practical advice, and I believe that's the whole reason as to why HypnoFit was such a success, was because I used to break things down to the simplest sentences for clients to comprehend, to understand, and to live their life by. So the three parts of my book is, the first part one is my spiritual awakening. What actually happened? How did I awaken to the truth of reality, which is that what we see is not it. That what we see at the surface level is not it. So what actually happened? There was something specific other than my dad's passing that actually awakened me to the reality that there is so much more than we can possibly conceive of, and that it doesn't have to come with hard work to have whatever you want, that when you let go, more comes. Part two is my revelations. What were my revelations? There's 8 mind-bending revelations. And part 3 is the path to effortless abundance in reality. How do we live it? How do we live every single day so we are living in this effortless abundance? Because it is our absolute birthright. So if this book is of interest to you, in stage up to the second draft, connect in with me. Send an email to Eleni at elenimidas.com and put in the title Effortless Abundance. And what I'm going to do is, you'll be the first to be notified of it. And I'm going to be pulling out winners who will be getting free copies. So Effortless Abundance, put that in the title, send an email to Eleni at elenimidas.com, because this is your birthright. We all deserve to live this way. We all deserve to live with ease and grace and flow, and not stress and drama. It's not the way it's supposed to be. And, you know, I spent way too many years of my life living a way that didn't allow me to really enjoy the sacredness of the moment. And so no more. I'm not prepared to do that anymore. I'm not prepared to live by the old rules, the old paradigms, the old ways of doing things. That I do trust my path. I do trust the universe. I do trust that everything that I could possibly desire is within my grasp and will be given to me when I'm not attached to it. So if this resonates with you, let me know, because let's do this together. Sending you so much love, and yeah, from my heart to your heart, I send you love. I send you, my wish is for you to get curious about the possibilities of how we can do things differently, and to perhaps put a seed in letting go of the way that we used to do things and instead do things a different way. Sending you so much love.